Guys, as always, it is so good to be back. It's Three Bold Takes. Freddie, Chase, and Quinn. As always, we're sponsored by SeatGeek. If you want $20 off your first ticket purchase, make sure to use our discount code Three Bold Takes. That is the discount code Three Bold Takes. We're talking conference championships all weekend long. We're super excited. If you're interested in one of those, make sure to use SeatGeek, our partner, for $20 off your first ticket. Probably the biggest one of them all, the SEC championship, the Georgia Bulldogs facing off against the Texas Longhorns. This one will be basically a home game for Georgia, if I'm correct, over there in Atlanta. It's even. Is that what the spread is right now? It's 2.5. My bad, guys. It's 2.5. I'm sorry. It's what it opened as. The spread currently is 2.5 in the favorite of Texas. The over under is 49.5 points. I think that's an easy pick right there. But Freddie, I'm going to go to you first, my friend. A second time we're seeing this matchup this season. What do you got, Fred?
Dang, man, I really did not want to go first because this is a game that, it's a big one, right? It's two big brands, right? This game, when you look at it on paper, is going to be a knockdown, drag out slugfest yet again. As you guys know, and hopefully you guys watching know, Georgia has already beat Texas. That game was on the road earlier in the year. We remember throwing the crap and trash on the field, overturning calls, a lot of controversy, that sort of thing. But coming into this one, Texas is favored by 2.5. Now, they were favored in that matchup earlier in the year as well by a similar margin at home. This one's a home game for Georgia. I'm going to go ahead and call it. This is a home game for Georgia. Georgia, to me, obviously, they're coming off an 8 overtime thriller against Georgia Tech. An absolute phenomenal game to watch. It was a blast as a college football fan to watch one of the greatest I've ever seen live. Very, very entertaining. So sad for Georgia Tech and Brent Key. They played a heck of a game, but Georgia did come out on top as Texas coming off a huge emotional game against Texas A&M. First time that game's been played in 11 years. And you walk out with a dub 17-7. So a lot of emotions coming off of rivalry with both of these teams. I personally, I don't think if Georgia loses this game, I don't think it matters. I think they're in the playoffs, and I think a lot of the country knows that and understands that. But I think Georgia's going for more than just making the playoffs, and I think they're going to make another statement. I think they're going to beat Texas. When I look at Texas, a lot of quarterback questions here. Ewer's been in, been out. He's played some. He's not played some. He's been injured. He's been not injured. Now, I know that they have probably the best quarterback room in all the country between their starter and their backup. However, Georgia's a different animal. It's different if Arch comes in and plays against Arkansas or Kentucky. This still is Georgia that we are talking about here, and I know it's not the Goliath that we've seen in previous years, but they still have the talent. They still have the best coach in America on the team, and I think that they're just a better football team. So give me Georgia to win this game and upset Texas in the SEC championship, solidifying themselves a first-round bye in the.
Yeah, I think you hit on the most important thing right off the bat, which is that this game's in Atlanta, Georgia. So I think get ready for, if Georgia is to win this game, get ready for a huge movement to try and get the SEC title game to switch locations from time to time instead of being permanently one spot. I'm serious. Like, I think there will be a large push from folks in Norman, Austin, College Station to have it rotate between Atlanta and Houston or Atlanta and Dallas uh, for off and on years as a result of this game. That's a long term prediction. But as far as for the matchup on the field, I'm taking Georgia. Is Georgia in an SEC championship game? I refuse to believe that Texas is going to win the SEC in their first year. If they do it, congratulations, you'll prove me wrong. But I've been staunchly in opposition to Texas winning the SEC in their first year. I don't think it would be able to be done. They might pull it off, but until that day comes, I will not settle on that prediction. So give me Georgia to win the game. I like Kirby Smart in these moments. He's played super well in SEC title games unless Alabama is across the field from them. So I like the dogs to get it done. Yeah, going to be a close game, and hey, it'll work out for Texas in the end because you're going to lose. You'll probably be the 5 seed, and you'll play, the Big 12 champion and be in Boise State to get yourself to the semifinals. So
I'm very intrigued by this matchup, um, mainly because I'm a very superstitious guy. I think you guys know this by now. Very, very superstitious. It's really hard to beat the same team twice in a season. And there's just first off, watching the Texas A&M game, the offense for Texas, it's all right. It was kind of cool how they used Arch Manning. I would not expect a Manning to be a running type quarterback, but apparently Arch Manning has some wheels on him and can move around. Really cool to watch how Sarkisian used him there. But the biggest thing that got me was the defense. It was just all over the place all the time, depth everywhere. Wouldn't allow Texas A&M to get going. Even from Texas A&M had a a 60, 70 yard pick returned and all the way to like the 15, and Texas A&M got stopped at the 1. Like just the amount that their defense played with, and then also on the other side, Georgia's offense against Georgia Tech non-existent until like 3 minutes left in the game. Georgia had all of a sudden was like, hey, yeah, we can score at will, and scored 2 touchdowns in the final like 2 minutes and 59 seconds, I think it was, something like that. So the fact that Georgia was just kind of coasting through that game, not expecting Georgia Tech to really put up a fight, it was very surprising to me. But I always go back to one of the biggest things that kind of when I began watching football a few years into my football watching was the 2011 Alabama season. LSU beat Alabama in the regular season 6-9 on field goals only. And then later on in that season, faced them again in the national championship, and Alabama wiped the floor with them 21-0. Guys, and this is another one of those big games. Georgia, Texas, Georgia. It was only 30-15, but Georgia still they handled Texas pretty well. If we're not gonna lie to each other. Like they did pretty well in that game. But I just find it very hard to believe to sit here and say, all right, Georgia's just going to waltz in there and beat Texas a second time over again. I find that very, very hard to believe. I didn't say I couldn't believe it because I do think Georgia will still. I wanted to build that up a little bit more. I do think Texas is going to come out and do things a lot differently this time. I think they kind of had their nose up in the air the first time, thinking that they were all hot and good, but Texas hasn't really played anybody extremely well this season. Out of the 2 teams that came to the SEC this year, Texas had the easier schedule. The big game was Georgia and Michigan. Michigan was not the same team that they were last year. So let's just put it that way. And then the other big game was Texas A&M at the end of the year, and Texas A&M still had some quirks to fix out or fix the last couple weeks. My apologies. And so I think Texas is going to get tested again. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I'm going to take 3 points for Georgia in this one. So,
real quick here, I want to give a shout out to Steve Sarkisian because I know he's watching this video. But he did a phenomenal job after that game, keeping his team away from the midfield logo, doing anything super disrespectful after the game, as we saw so many fights last weekend. The planting of the flags, the brawls, the pepper spray, all that. He did it the right way. He went over and he was the coach and leader of the team and told them no, to get away. We're not doing that. So shout out him. Not many coaches around the country have done that or would do that. So huge respect in my book. I have so much more respect for him now because of that.
Yeah, not many, meaning not like
Any.
99. He might be the only one. But guys, Sark, thank you so much for watching this video. As you heard, Freddie deeply respects you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. It's 3 Bold Takes. Freddie, Chase, and Quinn, as always, use SeatGeek, our discount code 3 Bold Takes to get $20 off. So thankful for y'all to watch. This was the SEC Championship video.